Hey guys, we are going to be talking about working backwards with formulas in regards to area and circumference of circles and just area and in general of other shapes as well. So the first thing that we're going to look at is example 1. So the first problem says the area of a rectangle is 24 square centimeters. If the length is 8 centimeters, what is the width? Okay, so the first thing it asks you is what is the formula of a rectangle? So the formula of a rectangle is length times width, okay? And that equals area. All right, and then it asks us what information do we know? Okay, so we already know that the area is equal to 24 centimeters squared. And we also know that the length is 8 centimeters. Okay, I'm making a cursive L just because sometimes my L's look like 1s and I want to differentiate between the two. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put in the information that we know into our original formula. So I know what my length is, so I'm going to put in an 8 for my length. Okay, and I don't know what my width is, so I'm going to put a W here. So I have my length, which is 8, times W, and my area is 24. Okay, so if I were to solve this, I would divide by 8 on both sides, and I would get W is equal to 3. Okay, so the width of my rectangle would then be 3 centimeters, so make sure that you put your units. All right, so the next one, excuse me. Okay, my next one, I have example 2. It says the circumference of a circle is 56.52 square inches. What is the length of the diameter? Okay, so the first thing that is asking us is what is the formula for the circumference of the circle? And we know that a circumference is pi times diameter. We could also write it as 2 times the radius times pi as well, but I'm going to leave it in terms of pi times diameter because we are talking about diameter. All right, the information that we know that the circumference, we were told, is 56.52 inches squared. And then we were also told, we weren't told this, but we know that the value of pi is equal to 3.14. Okay, so in that, knowing these two things, we can plug those values into this equation to figure out what the diameter is. All right, so I am going to do 3.14 times d because I don't know what my diameter is, but I know what pi is. And I'm going to set that equal to the circumference, which is 56.52. All right, so now I'm going to divide and use inverse operations, both sides. So when I divide the circumference by pi, I am going to get the diameter. And so the diameter in this case, I'm going to write off to the side. The diameter is equal to 18 inches. If we wanted to take it a step further, we could then find the radius by dividing the diameter by 2. Okay, next one. So example 3, the circumference of a circle is 43.96 square inches. What is the length of the radius? Okay, so this is just like what we just did, but we're taking it a step further to figure out what the radius is. So the formula we know is, we'll do 2 times the radius times pi equals circumference. Okay, we could also have written it as pi times diameter. We know that the circumference is 43.96 inches squared. And we also know the value of pi. So pi is equal to 3.14. And now I'm going to input all of that information. So I know that I have 2r times 3.14. And that is equal to 43.96. Okay. I just wanted to show you that this is how you can set this up. So we still need to figure out what r is, but we're going to multiply 2 by 3.14 to simplify, so that we can solve this easier than just doing multiple steps, okay? But I wanted to show you this is what we're doing. So 3.14 times 2 is going to give me 6.28 times the radius. So once again, I got 6.28 by doing 3.14 times 2. 6.28 times r equals that circumference. All right. And now I'm going to divide by 6.28 on both sides, and I would get r is equal to 7 inches. Okay. Now, another way you could have done this is you could have used the diameter here, and then we would have solved for the diameter and then divided by 2. So there are a couple different ways to go about doing this, but it's flexible. So you use which way would make the most sense to you. All right, so now we're going to talk about triangles. Example 4, the area of a triangle is 60 square centimeters. If the height is 12 centimeters, what is the length of the base? Okay, so we need to review what the area of a triangle formula is. To find the area of a triangle, you're going to do base times height and divide by 2. Okay, and then we are going to list what we know. So we know that the area of this specific triangle is 60 centimeters square. Okay, and we also know that the height of the triangle is 12 centimeters. Okay, so now I'm going to input everything that I know. And so I know that my area is 60, okay, and I know that my base was, I don't know what my base is, but my height is 12, so I have 12b, and then I'm going to divide by 2. Okay, so to simplify this, I am going to do 12 divided by 2, which gives me 6. So I have 6b on this side, okay, and then I am going to do the same thing, or well, I'm going to just write down what I have over here. So I have 6b equals 60, and I'm going to divide, sorry, it's getting all in here. Okay, so b equals 10. So I divided by 6 here, and it's kind of hard to see because it ran in. I should have used less space. But we have 6b equals 60 divided by 6 gives me b equals 10. You could have also simplified this before writing the equation, so you could have just skipped straight to this step. But this is the formula that we wrote up here, which is why I put this up here. All right, so now we're looking at example 5, the area of a parallelogram. Sorry, guys. The area of a parallelogram is 144 square inches. If the base measures 16 inches, what is the height? Okay, so when we are looking at a parallelogram, we just do base times height equals area. So we know that the area is 144 inches squared. We know that the base is 16 inches. And so once again, we're plugging in the values that we know. So my base was 16. I don't know what my height is, so I have 16h equals 144. Okay, and then I'm going to solve for h, and I'm going to divide by 16 on both sides. And from that point, I would get h equals 9 inches. H equals 9 inches. Okay, last one. All right, the area of a circle is 50.24 square inches. What is the length of the radius? So the area of a circle, we know it can be written as r squared times pi, or pi r squared equals the area. For this one, we know that the area is 50.24 inches squared. We also know the value of pi once again. So pi is just 3.14, so we're going to make note of that. And then I'm going to plug in the information that I know. So I have r squared, and then I have 3.14. I'm going to put parentheses around it just so that you know it's separate. And then I know my area is 50.24. Okay, so the first thing that I need to do is I need to divide. Okay, so if I look at this and I do that division, I would get, okay, so 50.24 divided by 3.14 gives me 16. Okay, so now I have r squared is equal to 16, but remember I now need to find out what the radius is. So to figure out what just the radius is, not what r squared is, I need to take the square root. So we're undoing that exponent. So the square root of 16 would then just be 4. So my radius is 4 centimeters. Or sorry, inches. Sorry, inches. Okay, so 4 inches would be my final answer here. All right, any questions? Make sure that you put it in the Edpuzzle. And then on the back side of this paper, guys, there are task cards. So you need to make sure that you get these task cards done. And then when you're ready for a check, make sure you let your teacher know. All right, thanks for listening.